Welcome to Second Take, the show that focuses on the issues behind the news. Access to equity finance by junior mining companies is one of the main challenges to the growth of this sector of the economy. This is why Finance Minister Trevor Manuel has introduced mid-year tax breaks by providing tax incentives for investors through venture capital company funds. Mining Weekly editor Martin Creamer is with us in the studio today to unpack this issue. Martin, can you explain what Trevor Manuel's tax incentive scheme is?
Yeah, from July the 1st, Trevor Manuel has gazetted a scheme whereby those who invest in junior mining companies through a structure called a venture capital company that has to be authorized by the Revenue Service may claim 100% write-off on their investment. So it seems quite a generous write-off. Critics say it possibly is dealing with the small end of the junior market and not going fully across the spectrum. But those who have got greater insight saying, no, that is not correct. Even mature, large junior mining companies can make use of this. And those who can invest are individuals and also listed companies. So it's important that, that scope of investment is wide, and it does seem to be.
Why is an incentive like this needed in South Africa?
We need to create a junior mining culture. We've never had a junior mining culture in South Africa, and it's because we've been blessed by huge ore bodies. You know, Witwatersrand gold ore body was huge. It was more the preserve of engineers and geologists. The Bushveld complex, where all our platinum is, it's an Aladdin's cave of treasure. But you don't have to search too hard for it. And so we haven't had a lot of small companies. We've had big companies. It also comes against the background of our previous minerals regime, where the private sector owned those mineral rights and they held on to them for a long time. Now you've got a use it or lose it principle, that if you don't make use of those particular mineral rights, they vest back to the state, who can offer them to others.
So what would be the aim of this incentive then?
The aim of this incentive is to create an investment culture in smaller mining companies. We just don't have that on the Johannesburg Stock Exchange. If you go across to Toronto, you will see a massive culture and investment. It's created a huge industry, and it's only the result of tax incentives by the government in the flow-through scheme. This has created a massive benefit for mining, and we're trying to replicate that here.
You've mentioned the Toronto flow-through scheme. What link does it have to the South African incentive?
It has an indirect link, because that was the catalyst. That was the catalyst they took to Trevor Manuel and his treasury, saying, here is a scheme that has been very successful in Canada. Can we apply this in South Africa in order to engender this investment in smaller mining companies? So he had a look at it for some time. He looked at it with private sector people, with his own treasury, and he called in the Department of Minerals and Energy, and they decided, no, they would do something better. So this is meant to be something better. But what worries me is those who are meant to set up the venture capital companies, and those venture capital companies are crucial. This can't happen without them. The private equity sector, when you talk to them, they say, no, they're not going to set up these VCCs, which means that they don't feel that this is a dripping roast. They don't feel there's enough incentive. So perhaps those who, the architects of the scheme, were a little bit parsimonious, a little bit mingy, and one hopes that this doesn't backfire on us.
Talking about backfiring, is the current economic situation not a bad time to introduce a scheme like this?
I think it's a good time. When things are down, you plan for the upturn. You must plan when there is a downturn for the upturn. And if you get an incentive like this to actually drill into an ore body to find out, how much metal and mineral is in that, when the upturn comes, you're ready to move. So it's an ideal time, I think, to put out an investment like this. It will be available to people from July the 1st. It is gazetted. We do run quite a big story on it in the latest issue of Mining Weekly, and hopefully there'll be a bigger debate on it. And if there are some refinements needed, perhaps they will be done at the right time.
It's an interesting concept. Thank you very much for your time, Mark.
It's a great pleasure.
That's the show for today. Join us again next time as we take an in-depth look into the mining world's premier projects, industries, and business personalities.